Okay, guys, so I'm coming at you like really raw. No makeup. Well, I had makeup on. I don't think you can see it anymore. Hair looking ratchet bad. You can see all of my drinks that I have laying behind me because I don't know. I go through a lot of drinks during the day. And just because it's a pop cup doesn't mean it's a pop. Don't get me wrong. I usually have water or lemonade. Actually, that one is a Diet Coke, but that's the first Diet Coke I've had in a while. Um, I'm coming to you because I wanted to give you a daddy update. I realized I hadn't done one since his hip surgery on December 30th. He came through surgery with flying colors. With his polio syndrome and the way his body is shaped, that side of his hip is actually the size of like a 12-year-old, and they had a hard time finding a hip to fit it. So they made it work, as the doctor said. They, used the smallest one they had and made it work. That's a quote from the doctor. So recovery from that was um, not horrible, except for the fact that I personally don't feel like the staff where he was, the hospital where he was, were very adequate. And I don't expect them to be knowledgeable just because daddy's situation. Sorry if you hear a bunch of noise, hubby's sorting through his stuff and putting stuff away. Um, Sorry. It's okay, babe. So, with daddy's polio syndrome, you can't treat him like you would a patient who has normal muscle issues or normal muscle deterioration due to age because his is worse, a lot worse. His is also the type of situation where if you overwork them, you do more damage than you do good. And so he was in the hospital for 4 days. 4 days just in recovery, like just in, his normal hospital room recovering. They did minimal rehab. They did some rehab. And then they moved him to a rehab floor, on the floor where they do the transition and the rehab. They were there for 1 day. The physical therapist came in and did what the doctor ordered needed to be done. This was not even a doctor that has seen my dad. This man had not even come into the room yet and talked to my parents. He just handed out orders on what his therapy should be. How do you give out orders on what somebody's therapy could be if you've never talked to them about their situation? You cannot assume that every patient you have is exactly like the one you had before or exactly like the next one you will have. Um, just baffling to me how horrible and unhippocratic this doctor was. The therapist that actually did the therapy was so upset over the damage that she did to my dad. And the way we know that there was damage done is because that night, after his physical therapy, his arms had spasms. They had spasms so bad that my dad could not even feed himself his supper because he was jerking and twitching and couldn't keep the food on his fork. That's bad. That's not good. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of therapy you're doing. I don't care what situation you're in. That's too far. That's too much. You've done damage. So, hi, my Michael. So, Michael says, I got ice cream. So, the next day after that, my mom and dad took him out of the hospital. They brought him home. So then we begin in-home therapy and trying to figure out how my parents can survive without somebody there with them full time. My dad is not mobile. He is not self, mobile anyway. And then when you add hip surgery on top and you add, okay, I love my daddy to death, but let's be honest, he is one of the biggest wimps on the planet when it comes to pain or even fear of pain or thinking pain might occur if he twitches his finger wrong. I love him, but it's just the honest truth. With that said, the first night home was really, really hard. we got them all set up. We got Daddy into their bed, and thankfully they have a bed that has oh gosh, my nails look really ratchet. Lift on, like it's not, what's that kind of bed called, honey? It's not, it's like a Tempur-Pedic bed where they can lift up, and sit up, and it vibrates too, which ooh la la. But anyway, moving on.
They would use that.
Yeah, right. So we got him into bed, and he was able to get into a position where he was at least able to take pain meds and hopefully get some sleep that night. Clearly, the next week had been rough. It has been, let's see, he came home on the, surgery was on the 30th. He was moved down to rehab on the 4th. They came home on the 5th. So we are at the 25th, and he is finally getting to a point where he can sit himself up in bed, which he couldn't do before. He couldn't sit himself up in bed. He's starting to try to turn himself in bed, like maneuver so he can, scooch to the side of the bed, which is really good progress for him. We're excited about this. Part of the problem that now he is having is with the pain medicines he's on, he's having some bowel issues. So we're dealing with that. But other than that, he's doing really good. I mean, I know that sounds like a lot of negative, but it's really not. Now that once he got home, and once my mom, now they do have a therapist coming in 3 times a week. I think it's 3 times a week to do some physical therapy with Dad, but my mom has gotten to a point where she is literally right beside them, and she is telling this guy, okay, it's time to stop, and she's, standing up for my daddy and not letting this guy just bully my daddy into doing more than what he needs to do. And when the therapist isn't there, Mom is doing therapy with him. Hun, do you need help? You really need to figure out how to lighten that up because, end of the world comes. It's only 70 pounds. And heaven forbid we're dealing with the grandbabies and you're going to have to carry one of them too.
You don't have to carry this. That's what the Travoy is for.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting about the Travoy. So, it's getting better. He's getting there. So I wanted to say thank you because I did receive a few comments from people, and I actually, excuse me, post a lot about him on my Facebook. So if you go to my Facebook page, which is Michelle Bentley, not that hard to figure out, you can see I call them daddy updates, and there's usually a pic, to go with the update. Not the last 2, I don't think I've had one. Thankfully, I mean, we've had to go over and help, which I do not mind at all. My mom, bless her heart, she has got the inner strength of an absolute warrior saint. I just don't know how she does it. My parents are not spring chickens. They're not, like 90 years old or anything. My dad is 73, my mom is 68. But they're not spring chickens. And my mom is taking care of him. I mean, it's just amazing to me watching them and having her as a somebody to witness and a mentor and how to be a good wife and a good mother. I could not have a better example. She is top notch, by far the best ever. So anyway, I wanted to post an update, and I'm sorry that I look like really ratchet. I am so bad.
Your favorite word today?
It is my favorite word today. My nails look ratchet. I look ratchet. Sometimes the world is just ratchet. I am going to go film a sort of kind of haul video. We went grocery shopping today to stock up. I don't know if you saw the Walmart haul where I talked about a freezer that we bought. It's full. It's really full.
Really, really.
I don't think we could put a mint in there if we needed to. It's full. And the freezer with the refrigerator is full. And actually, there's a couple of things I had to take out of the refrigerator freezer so I could put the rest of the stuff in that freezer. Yeah, we went shopping. But I should not have to grocery shop, like full grocery shop, for at least 3 months. Um, so anyway, my phone is flashing that it's gonna die. I will talk to y'all later. Give me a thumbs up if you like, subscribe if you can, and I love y'all. Have a good night. Oh, I should not have done that.